Can this generate passive income for me? Alright, so I think this is a new business idea that I'm pursuing. It is something very related to pig farming. You might not understand it now, but I will explain later. So this is a dryer where people can have access to, like they pay for the space and dry their grains, either rice or corn. So this is what I built in the community, and I expect the people to patronize it because I have also done a series of interviews with some potential customers. So you might ask that why did I even decide to pursue this? So in the community, we used to dry our corn and grain, and especially after milling. It's not everybody that prefers to mill the soaked products like that. So some come to mill them when they are dried. Some too come to mill the soaked one like corn. They put it in water, trying to make it into like the flour for banku. But some of them also prefer to go back and dry them, come back to mill them into powder. And even with that, it has a little flavor to it that most people love it that way. But the problem was that in the community, we have a natural rock that is spread in the bush. It's very far from the community, about 3 kilometers away. So you have to go there, sweep on this natural rock that has spread itself like that on the floor, and then dry them. And then some have to be stay there to take care of the product, simply because goats and sheep as well as cattle do go there to feed on these dried grains. So the owners usually have to go and dry them in the bush, stay in the bush all by themselves until they dry, and then they pick them, come back home, either to my center for me to remill for them, or they not take it to store in their individual homes. So the problem is that in this place, it's very risky. I went there myself, especially followed one of my customers. He came to mail and then he decided to go and dry. So I said, let me follow you to the place. Before today, the place used to be broad enough that 5 people or 10 can even dry at a go. But as the rain starts to fall, it is always sweeping some kind of sand to cover part of the rock. So the rock is reducing in size. It is also very risky for the people to stay in the bush all by themselves alone. Simply because I went there and I was able to see a number of snakes that were there. Besides, people have also turned the same place into open defecation area. If you have stayed in the rural area before, you understand open defecation. It has become very common because that place is more or less like a cleared land naturally. So people go there to ease themselves. So I went there and I was feeling uncomfortable, and I came home and I decided to also conduct some kind of informal interviews with some of the people, especially the potential ones. What if somebody does something like this for them in the community and they have to pay to get the space to dry their product? And that is about 70% of them agreed to pay to have something like that, simply because if that structure is built, they are not going to live in the bush when they are not bush animals. They are not going to live in the bush all in the name of taking care of this produce. But they can just come there, deposit their product, go back and do another important thing that would have taken their time for them to stay back watching over their dried product. So something like this is going to help them. So I decided to hire some people to do the building for me. So I brought in a mason to do the building, but for the finishing and everything, I have to change the mason. Simply because this first mason has been very reluctant and he's been like, he doesn't want to innovate. So I asked him to design it according to how I want it, and he was also telling me that he has never also seen it anywhere else. So he's going by what he has ever seen, not what I am telling him. And I also said, no, this is mine. So just do it according to how I want it. I want to be also unique so that somebody will also come and see mine and try to copy. You don't have to be rigid and stay the old way of doing things. You have to also add something unique to it. But he refused, so I have to change him and bring somebody who really understood me to come and do the finishing aspect of it. With the dryer here, what it will do for the people is that instead of the people or the potential customers to go to the bush, which is very risky and far from the community, to go and dry their product, and also stay behind just to take care of the product by driving away goats, sheep, and even cattle. All they come to do is, because I have a wire mesh around it, all they have to come and do is dump the product there, spread them on the floor, and I'll have the place locked. They'll go back to their homes, and that time they would have used to stay behind, they can use the same time to go and do other things, or maybe even go to their farms and work a bit. So I think this is something that will help them a lot, And for my community, I know anytime something new like this is happening to them, especially for them to pay, to have access to something that I'll be using the open sun to dry, usually it becomes a challenge. It is human nature. We all don't want to change, but as you know, change is the only constant. We have to keep evolving. So what they will do is they will try to reject it initially, but once 2, 3 people start patronizing it, that is where they will now start to see the value of it. And I'm not also afraid of it because usually that is the nature of the people I work with, and I understand them very well. When I started my piggery, they were like, pigs are dirty animals who even eat pork, stories about pigs all the time and everywhere. Until I started processing the pigs and serving them the meat and getting them to understand it, why they shouldn't talk dirty about pigs. That is where people started to patronize me to the extent that some of them even had to come for piglet to go and start their own farms because they have not seen how profitable pig farming is. And the profitability was seen when I sold a single pig for 4,500 Ghana cedis in a village. So they were surprised that I was able to sell a pig for that much. So that was where they all started to show interest in pig and pig farming because they equated it to crop farming. They and to maize and yam as well as millet. So they equated it. How many bags of maize will I sell to get what this guy got for a single pig in about 7 months? So that is what they didn't understand, and after they go to see how profitable pig farming can be and also see me work very diligently and keeping my pigs as healthy as I can by always scrubbing the floor, keeping the place neat, people came to understand me better. I started with my hauling services like the mailing also. People were complaining of the prices. I took them through some series of education as if they are to leave the place, my place, and go to where they think is cheaper because they are using electric or the electricity. Well, this is what it is costing them. They will have to journey at least 9 miles to get to the community and then back. Sometimes they get there, and you know in my country, Ghana here, the power is not that stable. They get there and then maybe their lights out. They have to wait. Maybe they can wait the whole day and the lights will not come back. That is where then they'll have to leave the product there because some also feel guilty to bring it back to me and even explain to them that they initially took them to that place and because there was no power, they have to bring it back. And from there, I decided to also let them know that let's just assume that let's just take off the distance they are covering there and then also go in there and not being able to milk their product. Even the time they'll take it there, if they had come to drop their products here, they can easily go to their farm and by the time they return, I'm done with the mailing. They just come pick them, go back to their house. Meanwhile, they've also been able to go back to their farm to work before coming to pick the product. But if they are living here, going to their distance to go and mail them, it means they are not going to be able to work on their farms again, and that very day is dedicated to mailing the product alone. Besides, with me, what they do is when they come to mail, they don't pay upfront. Some come, especially those who use it to cook or prepare the pito, like a local one we have here. They come to mail them, take them, prepare the pito, and even sell the pito before they come to pay me back. But when they go to those communities, they're not able to do that. It is cash and carry. They pay before they have access to the service. So it is all things they should take into account. So it was there they started to also give me complaints that, especially with my hauler, the one I used to haul the maize and then also the rice, that with the maize it is okay for them, but for the rice it gets the rice broken, especially the unparboiled one. You know, there's some rice we put it on fire, cook it some time before we mail them. Those ones they're able to mail correctly and perfectly for them, but the ones that have not been cooked, they struggle to, like, they always have it broken with my mail. Hence another complaint. So that was why I said, okay, customer feedback is very important. Why don't I listen to you? Well, if that is the case, let me get in touch with my engineer to also get me a more efficient one. And I went to the engineer, we talked things out and we were able to get more efficient one. And you know what? When I installed the new one, I didn't just start charging them. I offered free services, especially I sacrificed 5 liters of diesel because I use the diesel engine. I sacrificed 5 liters of diesel to mail for them for free, especially those that were complaining and those that know have the math to create some kind of bad market and bad impression about my business. I gave them the free services and then they enjoyed it, they were happy. And that was where they themselves went out and started to spread the word about how now efficient the mail is, and even fetch some of their own mailed product, finished product, show to these people that this is the work of the mail now. So the mail is now active and efficient. From there, the people started coming patronizing it, and that is by the power of this their mouth. So word of mouth, very, very, very effective in marketing, especially with the local people. You know, they cannot read, they cannot also write, most of them. So their mouth and what people tell them is what they believe. They work with their mouth and the ears as well as their eyes. So once I did that for them, the people started patronizing me and everything was moving smoothly for me. So I know definitely with this kind of platform that I've also built just to ensure that they pay me and then go back to their houses whilst I do the drying for them, and they'll come to pick them in the evening. They will definitely try to resist it, but I can assure you that after 2, 3 encounters, they'll come there by themselves and the place will not even be enough for them. I will have to expand this thing in no time as I'm seeing it. For now, they are into 6 compartments. So each compartment or each space will be sold for a particular amount of money. So I don't know if there's something you want to tell me in this kind of monetization, but they're going to pay per space. So like I said, this one is going to serve more or less like a passive form of income for me, and maybe to help me to buy fuel with my motorbike. If a day I'm able to get 2 liters of fuel, I can use to cruise small in the community just to visit my customers, interact with them, and even visit the places I'll be able to get byproducts of some local people for my animals. So definitely that is what we're doing. You can also look around and see some opportunities. Mostly we see the business ideas and business opportunities are always seen in the complaints of the people. Somebody can see it and always be talking. He's not finding solution, talking, no solution, no action. It's just where somebody is doing it for them. You go there, open your ears, listen to what they're saying, and get them what they want. And then in return, they'll give you their money. Sometimes it marvels me that I can see somebody whom I know and have also heard to be very stingy. But once the person comes to get services from me, the way they pay willingly, like the way they dash out the money, they don't even think about it. I said, no, they are not being stingy. It's just because they don't know why they're giving their money. That's why they don't want to give it to you. But once they know that I need to give money to this guy because I need this kind of service, they will pay. No matter wherever you find yourself, there's definitely an opportunity for you to also make an impact and also make some kind of money from it. So with my mailing services, we offer free services to the aged, especially disabled and some weak men in the community. And also with the pork also, every December, we do share porks to some homes. So in fact, we are running our farm and a mail like more or less like social enterprise. So when I start also, one thing I didn't also consider, like I was thinking this thing was not going to cost much. So initially I bought 4 bags of cement, thinking that 2 will be used for the block laying and then 2 will be used to do the finishing. But I got to realize that even the 4 alone was used to do the block laying. And even have to break some part to reconstruct, because when we were done, we forgot about the outlet so that if it should rain, the water will come out by itself. So we had to cut some parts also, create the outlet, and then finish it with cement and sand again. Now that I said this way, at least people know how to go to the bush, which is very risky for them. Personally, I would not like to live in the bush in that way. So I think this is also a form of passive income, one-time investment, which is going to make people's life a bit easier in the community, and even if not for people, myself, because I also used to dry my product in the open sun and I have to sit behind, take some sticks, sack goats and even fowls so that they don't eat my little feed I've got to gather. But with this, I also go there, just dump them, and then I'll go and relax. So this is something that even if my people don't patronize it, it will be of help to me myself, because personally I need it. For you to understand what I'm doing better, this is how the community used to dry their product. You see that they have dried some kind of rice grain in the open sun. Somebody sitting behind with a stick, a long stick in that sense, trying to drive away fowls and also goats. So that is the struggle they used to go through. In fact, we should name it Pigvesti Dryer, and it should help us do more for the Pigvesti farms. From the way I speak about my mailing business in the community, you can see that I am enjoying monopoly in the community. Yes, it is monopoly for now, simply because initially there were about 4 mills in this small community, 4 different mills in the community. But most of these people that started, like the 3 of them got it wrong from the beginning. They got to see that Francis was always starting a machine and they could hear the sound of it from their homes. So they all gathered some money, some came together as family, then they bought a mill. But along the line, family businesses started to collapse because this one was demanding part of it for himself or his wife and the families. This one was also demanding. And this one was also like, so one person is taking charge of the business. Why should it be so? And another person too was thinking this way. So different ideas and diversity broke in, and that is where some of them collapsed their businesses. Upon interacting with some of them also, what I learned is that most of them didn't have any funds stored aside in case the business breaks down. What they used to maintain the machine, the business, they had the money. They had and made estimate that it will cost them maybe 30,000 Ghana cedis to get the mill set up. So they just hustled very harder, got the 30,000 without any extra cash, went and bought the machine, had it installed. So whilst they were operating, the machine broke down and they need some money to go and then maintain it. But here's the case, what they have already worked for cannot maintain the machine. So they have to now break down or pause the business for some time and come back. And it is also one thing with customers. If they come and you give them story, it has broken down, go and come another time. They give you that time to make sure you maintain it. They come back and then after some time too, they come and then you tell them stories that the machine has broken down again. And also with that, you don't even give them messages ahead of time. Like there's no notice until the customers gain all their way to the center, and then they will tell them those stories. So people got to see that they are not reliable at all. Okay, so it is also good if you're going to business, make sure you also have another cash reserved so that one will serve as emergency or backup. Usually they do say that if you're going to buy a machine, make sure that you can buy twice of it and then you buy one, so that if something goes wrong, you can use the spent money to go and get the machine or the business operating. This is one thing that the people didn't get it right. And it's also more or less like customer service. Their customer service was also poor, in a sense that we are in the community and it is a village. Like how I talk in the village language. So most of these customers, when they come to patronize your services, they don't have the money to pay you upfront. That some will have to even go and cook, sell the pito, that is the local drink, before they come back and pay you. But these people, what they did is they started the business and were expecting the customers to just pay upfront, but it didn't go that way. So they were not getting the money to buy the fuel to keep the business going. And that is why they started to fight some of their customers. And you know, it is human nature. Once they come there, they don't feel valued, or they feel that you are just taking money from them. They will just dash you, like they'll just ignore you. Nobody wants to be sold to. So if you're not providing something in exchange for it, and you're too centered on the money, you easily lose your customers. So they didn't just talk well with them, and they started fighting them for not paying the money on time, and then they lost their customers. Timely and strategic communications are very important when you want to sustain your business in this sense. How do I get a business idea? Do you have any business idea you want to help me start with? See, if you want to start any business, from the little I know, I'm not in the best position to tell you, but for the little I know, for you to spot an opportunity, all you have to do is to open your eyes and then your ears. Be observing what is happening. With my mail, I go to see that I am located in a farming community. But anytime these farmers finish with their rice, they have to carry it, move past the community, go to another community that is about 9 miles, like I said, away, to mail them. So I said, no, why don't I then be the middleman here? I'll cut it short. Once they finish harvesting, they just bring it to my center. I do the mailing for them here, eliminating that distance they'll have to go through. And also, if you want to also see another opportunity, you listen to the people. What people have been complaining that you think you can provide a solution to it. If maybe it is about running errands, somebody doesn't want to get out from his house and move to a place to go and buy something. You can get those things for them. Maybe you buy it for them and then they'll pay you something small on top of it. And also, you go to a community. That is why usually they say when you travel, it helps you to open your mind and your eyes clearly. If you travel, you can see that there's an opportunity or a business booming in a particular community that you cannot find it anywhere near your community or your region or district. So you can just copy it directly. You just copy everything, dito, don't leave anything out if you can. You copy it from where it is working, bring it to your community. There are some things you overthink them. You want a big groundbreaking business idea. You start something small and then you say the idea should be polishing. It will be polishing up. And before you see it, you have refined the idea and it is working for you. That is basically what I am also perceiving, and so far, I must say honestly that it is working for me. Anything I see and I tap it, provided I'm able to start it, it runs for me. I've never started any business yet twice. I started once and it is running for me. I'm not saying it is making me a lot of money, but it is working for me. So business ideas, just look at what the people complain of or what they need solution to, but you're not getting them. And you provide that solution. Or also go to a place, you see that there's a particular business opportunity that people are pursuing there and it's giving them a lot of money and they are making impact. Copy it, dito, and bring it to your community, serve your people. For now, for the little thing I do, I know that some people know me, but they don't even know my name. But they know that this is what somebody somewhere is doing, and they are referring those ones to me, but they don't really know my name as this is Francis. They just know that there's a guy down here doing this kind of business. So sometimes they say we are going to where there's the pig farm. That is definitely they are definitely talking about my site. Or we are going to where there's that rice hauling center, and it is also the same place that they are coming to me, you see. So it is something that I'm very proud of, and I'm glad that I started it. You can also do something like that for yourself. Just look into your community and see where you can fit in with your solution.